Madam Speaker, even before the pandemic, the cost of housing was increasing and was a serious concern for a number of young Canadians who seek to buy their first house, including many in my riding of Vimy. In 2017, the federal government answered and met these concerns by establishing the first national housing strategy in Canada in order to improve accessibility, availability, and the quality of housing in Canada. This is a first crucial step, and voters in my riding have continued to express their concerns with regards to the increase of the cost of housing and are still counting on our government. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the housing crisis, especially for those who are the most vulnerable. This includes, unfortunately, women who live in dangerous conditions. Madam Speaker, MPs will remember that this House recently organized a take-note debate in order to note worrying trends in violence against women. Given the threat of COVID-19, a number of people were incapable of accessing shelters, which exacerbates problems against which homeless people, for example, are faced. Budget 2021 will continue to tackle the housing crisis by investing in new projects and extant projects also. Can the Minister explain how the funding of housing projects is important for Canadians and why it is so essential for the federal government to take into account marginalised communities in its plans? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to commend my colleague for that question. It's an eminently important one. The high cost of housing affects nearly all Canadians. It is exactly the reason for which we have taken measures on many fronts in order to alleviate the pressure exerted on modest and low-revenue Canadians. That's why Budget 2021 will invest $2.5 billion and will reassign $1.3 billion in extant funding to accelerate the construction, the repair, or the support of 35,000 affordable housing units. This will also help families and young Canadians, homeless Canadians, as well as women and children who need a safe place far from violence. Out of this, $1.5 billion will be assigned to the initiative to create rapid housing in order to create units over the next 12 months. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that at least 25% of these funds will be assigned and reserved for housing units for women. This investment will add more than 4,500 affordable housing units on top of the 4,700 units that we created within the $1 billion investment in the Fall Economic Statement. And my honourable colleague has also noted the importance of helping women who are fleeing violence. I would like to note that Budget 2021 proposes $315 million over 9 years, starting in 2021-2022, through the Canada Housing Allowance in order to improve direct assistance to women and children who are fleeing violence to help them to pay their rent. These measures are added to our National Action Plan that seeks to end gender-based violence and aids the $200 billion investment over 2 years in Budget 2021, starting in 2021-2022, in support of associations that fight against gender-based violence. Madam Speaker, the very first national housing strategy in Canada pilots our approach as a government because everyone should have a safe and affordable place to call their own home, and we will continue this important work that we have just started. Thank you, Madam Speaker.